Jane Doe and Jay-Z's secret settlement. Jane Doe and Jay-Z secret settlement. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Lillian Coley, and this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I wanted to make some, I won't say noise, but I wanted to make some revelations and put in information about things that have been happening over the last few days. There's been a lot, and we can't even keep up with it. But the main thing is, I think we told you here on this channel that Jane Doe and the Jay Z settlement likely had a settlement. Because what we had believed, what we didn't know all the backstory information, blah, blah, blah. But some things have come to light. We know that Jane Doe has done this recording, or somebody says she did a recording saying that she was not ARD, but then she also was another recording with her attorney that didn't seem like it was edited, said that she remains or stands on her allegations. So we know, just so you know the psychological part of it, that people who have been victimized, regardless of who did it, if somebody's been victimized and she's 38 now, and it happened at 13, there's a lot of stuff that happens as a result of trauma. So we're not sure what people are thinking or saying throughout their lifetime, what they're going through, I guess I should say. So when they get to certain pivotal moments, there can be a lot of noise, if you will. But I don't want to go into the PIs, the mysterious PIs who come to only target for one type of conversation with this young lady. I want to focus on the fact that she had a settlement, and the settlement appears to have been breached or not followed, because part of the settlement, the global settlement, was for her to not be contacted, intimidated, or harassed. Quite frankly, and the reports out there is saying that she felt that she was going to be unalived. Her life was going to be taken, and that she didn't want to be bothered with this whole shenanigans, so forth and so on. And the settlement came as a derivative of that and other things that were happening. Nonetheless, everybody, here we are. Here we are. Jane Doe feared for her life, and then she did a settlement with Jay-Z, a global settlement. I don't know what happened with the P. Diddy thing. We got this information from Ticket TV. There's documents, legal documents, where the attorney of Jane Doe had to come out and talk because, in some regards, the settlement agreement was breached, and here she had already dropped the charges and went on by her life. And some people think she should reopen them, but you don't really can't do that with the court. But I'm not sure how the agreement stuff works when somebody doesn't fulfill their end of the bargain. We're going to find out. But at the end of the day, let's look at the overall things or the situation regarding her and the whole settlement piece with her attorneys. What really happened behind closed scenes, because that's going to say a lot about where we are. So we're going to go into I'm going to share a screen with you. End of the day, Jane Doe, who had feared for her life, has had a settlement with Sean Carter, Jay-Z, and for whatever reason, Mr. Carter, as it appears, and the jury's still out, looks like the agreement was not completed based on, or not fulfilled based on what it says. Because according to these court documents that were read on Ticket TV, there was supposed to be no contact with her. So we're not sure why folk was showing up her house after the fact when this is over with and done with. So they kind of opened up a can of worms, if you will, and we're hoping that we can close this thing up the right way, everybody. Everybody, uh, it's a crazy thing when a victim finds themselves victimized by people. And this is not cool, everybody. It's just not cool. I don't care what nobody says. It's not cool. So I'm going to bring it over. I kind of had it where I wanted it to start, but because things happen, this is what we're going to be doing. So you might hear a little bit redundancy, but that's okay. Just stay in sync, everybody. And here we are. This is a video that was dropped yesterday. And as I already gave the backstory, but there was a secret agreement with Jane Doe and it looks like the agreements and stuff were breached and people didn't do their end of the bargain. So now attorney Buzbee, the attorney, is letting the cat out the bag on the agreement in court documents because he fights in court, everybody. And I think that's the best way to do it.
So Jay-Z is basically, his lawyer is basically saying that, look, this girl admitted that Tony Buzbee was the one who pushed her towards this lawsuit. She admitted that she lied. Jay-Z did nothing to her. The tape, we have her on audio tape, this, that, and the third. And yeah, it is what it is. Well, everybody was speculating about why that case was dropped. And as usual, a lot of these YouTube cats was wrong. They all thought that the case was dropped because the girl was lying. Mm-mm. According to court filings and declarations from Tony Buzbee and another New York law firm that law firm had represented Donald Trump in the past, and another that law firm, they're saying that this girl was in fear that she was going to have her life taken by Jay-Z, and they actually came to a secret agreement. And I will show you guys what's going on right now. Tony Buzbee put this writing up in the courts today, and this is going to be explosive because along with this is evidence that he has entered into his filing. Bro, man, this is unbelievable, man. I told you guys this is a case of a lifetime, and you guys are going to see.
So right before he reads the declarations of attorney Tony Buzbee, I just want to keep it real with y'all. You have a victim who says that certain things happened to her when she was 13. And sometimes, as I said before, people who have been in any kind of victimizing situation, whether regardless to who did it, something happens to them, right? So in this case, it appears that this young lady could have went through a whole lot of life or trauma, in addition to her having some other illnesses, etc. Because 13 is when it started, supposedly, this sexual thing. And who knows how her mind, body, and spirit responded afterwards and what it led her to in her life. Because a lot of times people that are victims are led into a lot of kind of other abusive type things because at that young age, you can't really process stuff like that. But listen to what he says. Attorney Anthony Buzbee is going to give the information regarding the court documents so you guys can see and hear it for yourself. Right? Got to see and hear it for yourself. Here it goes, everybody.
So Tony Buzbee wrote this declaration, and he says, I, Anthony G. Buzbee, declare as follows. 1, I am over the age of 18 and party in the above entitled action. I am also an attorney licensed to practice in the courts of the state of New York, or the state of Texas, and the state of New York. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein, which are known by me to be true and correct. And if called as a witness, I could and would competently testify thereto. Number 2, this declaration is submitted in opposition to Mr. Carter's ex parte application and further support of Buzbee Party's special motion to strike. Number 3, in October 2024, Jane Doe was referred to my firm by Ava Law Group, a respected law firm with its principal office in San Diego, California. The referral was in connection with anticipated claims, and this has bombshells, y'all. There are more celebrities that are unnamed that they mentioned. Absolute bombshell. Y'all finna see right now. In October 2024, Jane Doe was referred to my firm by Ava Law Group, a respected law firm with its principal office in San Diego, California. The referral was in connection with anticipated claims to be filed by Jane Doe against a range of defendants, including Let me read that line again. The referral was in connection with anticipated claims. So they're saying they anticipated to file these claims by Jane Doe against a range of defendants, including Sean Combs and Sean Carter. They had more celebrities that they hadn't even got to, or they settled with. More commonly known as Jay-Z Carter. In fact, Ava Law's intake, which predated my firm's involvement, already reflected Jay-Z as a litigation target. At the time of the referral, I was informed by Ava Law that they had conducted an investigation into the veracity of the plaintiff's allegations. Ava Law referred numerous cases to us. I was informed that their intake process involved multiple interviews of each potential client, including Jane Doe, including some cases, at least one, if not more, attorneys. Number 4, following that referral, my firm was retained by Jane Doe in October to pursue claims on behalf against, among others, Carter. After Jane Doe was referred to my firm engaged in further due diligence to investigate the veracity and legal viability of Jane Doe's claim. Multiple attorneys at my firm interviewed Jane Doe and fact-checked various aspects of her account. Number 5, on or about October the 20th, 2024, my firm filed the New York action on behalf of Jane Doe, which named multiple defendants, including Combs. My firm was authorized by Jane Doe to file the October the 20th, 2024 complaint in the New York action, NY complaint. The NY complaint also included specific allegations against Jay-Z, Mr. Carter, who was identified in the New York complaint as Celebrity A, including the following. Number 10, I understand. Excuse me, sir. You said, why do I hate black men so much? I love black men and I love black women. You must hate black men because if you didn't hate black men, you wouldn't respect if a black man is out here doing people dirty, allegedly, sir. If you had nothing to worry about, you'll sit your ass down and shut the hell up. And that's the reason why people get cooked coming into my channel. Number 10, top of your screen. I understand that Carter has now submitted declarations from 2 purported investigators who claim they approached Jane Doe on February the 21st, 2025, and that she told them that I pushed her into making what I knew to be a false claim against Carter on or about December the 11th, 2024, when she sat for an interview with the media. The claim is categorically refuted by factual record. My firm was retained in October to pursue claims by Jane Doe that Carter had engaged all word in sexual misconduct. Indeed, she had made that accusation before she even retained my firm, and her allegations against Carter appeared in the NY complaint as early as October the 20th, 2024. She had also executed 2 affidavits in support of her specific allegations against Jay-Z prior to December the 11th, 2024 interview. In each of the pre-filing interviews that I and other attorneys at my firm conducted with Jane Doe, she appeared both consistent and credible. At each point in this process, we determined that Jane Doe's allegations were credible. It is important to note that I personally interviewed Jane Doe. Remember Jay-Z said he didn't meet her? Well, they said that's a lie. He says, I found her to be credible. In short, we conducted extensive diligence and the claim we filed against Jay-Z had a more than sufficient basis in fact and law. Number 11, with respect to Carter's association with Combs specifically, despite it being widely known that he is a close associate of Combs, my firm conducted additional research to confirm their connection, which further bolstered our conclusion that Jane Doe's allegations against Carter were plausible, credible, and warranted legal recourse. Our firm also engaged a retired police detective to gather facts about the elements of Jane Doe's claim. They checked out, I declare, under the penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct, executed on this 11th day of March, 2025, at Houston, Texas, signed Anthony G. Buzbee. Goes on. Evidence is getting ready to get dropped. Introduction. Carter, Jay-Z, and his attorneys should withdraw this outrageous, misleading application. The quote-unquote new evidence Carter has proffered to the court, even if accepted, would not justify the denial of motion. Carter's claims all fail as a matter of law, and none of the quote-unquote new evidence he proffers comes close to salvaging his baseless First Amendment amended complaint. Moreover, Carter's quote-unquote new evidence is inadmissible, and his reliance on the Sweetwater and the hearsay exception for declarations against interest is misguided. Sweetwater does not apply to unsworn statements, and his quote-unquote new evidence was acquired under highly suspect circumstances from an intimidated witness who denies even making a statement such as quote-unquote evidence, lacks any indicia of reliability, and is not within any hearsay exception. In any case, the new evidence advances a factual narrative that demonstrably and indisputably false and lacks probative value. If Carter and his attorneys intend to advance the narrative stated in their quote-unquote new evidence, they do so with full notice that they are advocating a factual impossibility. The court need not and should not accept evidence that lacks evidentiary value or draw conclusions that no reasonable fact finder could draw. The incontestable facts, right? Incontestable facts establish that Carter's evidence is false, if not fabricated, and his arguments are frivolous. The unrebutted evidence shows that Jane Doe was referred to the Buzbee parties to prosecute claims against Jay-Z and others in early October 2024. After extensive, diligent efforts, the Buzbee parties filed a complaint on her behalf in October of 2024, which included specific allegations against Jay-Z, who was identified therein as Celebrity A. Jane Doe authorized the sending of a demand letter to Carter in November. Jane Doe executed 2 sworn affidavits in support of her allegations against Carter, one on November the 18th, 2024, the next on December the 8th, 2024. And also on December the 8th, 2024, Jane Doe authorized the filing of a filed amendment complaint that identified Jay-Z by name as a defendant. Jay-Z's new evidence nonsensically postulates that Mr. Buzbee convinced Jane Doe for the first time to sue Jay-Z on December the 11th, 2024. After all the foregoing events had already occurred, the demonstrably false theory, supported only by inadmissible hearsay obtained under highly improper circumstances, need not and should not be considered. It goes on. The evidence is coming. Wait for it, y'all. The evidence is coming now. In fact, when Jane Doe was ultimately frightened by Carter into abandoning her claim, Carter's counsel at Quinn Emanuel, John Quinn, and Alex Spiro on the one hand, and the Buzbee parties and Jane Doe's New York counsel, Mark Katzowitz, on the other hand, reached an agreement for a global walkaway. Remember all these lying, capping ass niggas on YouTube was saying, it's cap. All lies, nigga. She out of here. Remember they said that? They said she lied. No. No. And before you open your mouth, I have evidence. Let's stop right here now. Remember them niggas said, oh, hey, man. Hey, man. She was lying. They all lying. Remember that? No, big nose. It's evidence. Big needle nose head. Like I said, you go to church every Sunday and tell lies. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's read that line again from the, number 1, right to the top. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Look at this. In fact, when Jane Doe was ultimately frightened by Jay-Z, look at this now, because y'all finna get this finna light a fire under all of y'all, right? I want y'all to listen to this, right? In fact, when Jane Doe ultimately frightened by Jay-Z into abandoning her claim, Carter's counsel, Jay-Z's counsel at Quinn Emanuel, John Quinn, and Alex Spiro on the one hand, and Buzbee parties and the Jane Doe's New York counsel, Mark Katzowitz on the other hand, reached an agreement for a global walkaway. 504, they're not all lying because he dropped the proof, sir. And I'm going to show you. Know your role and shut your mouth, boy.
I think that's a good place to stop, everybody. Stop sharing, stop it all together. I think that's a good place to stop and take it all in. We understand that this was a long, drawn out fight and it's pretty much still intact, so to speak. We are always trying to support victims and help them overcome things that may have happened in their lives, in this case, early on. We're hoping and praying that Jane Doe is coming along. We're happy to hear that she did have a global settlement with Mr. Carter, Jay-Z. Unfortunately, it looked like both sides, or Mr. Carter didn't fulfill his part of it in terms of not having contact with her and not suing her, whatever their agreement was. I'm going to let you guys go in and explore more. So you can take Ticket TV or look at the California documents that's clearly there and read it for yourself in regard to what has happened. So I just wanted to come on to talk about Jane Doe, about her fearing for her life, and then was getting threats from people. And they said some people came to her home even early on. She wanted all of that to stop. So she agreed to do a global settlement. And the global settlement entails certain things that unfortunately looks like was not honored. So at the end of the day, keep your fingers crossed, everybody, and also stay positive. Send the right energy towards people such as herself who may go through things and don't understand why her life is going this way, because she might view herself as a victim, because she was at some point, and some victims never really get over their situations. They become better, and we're hoping they don't get bitter, but they do get better in most cases. But sometimes they don't, because they don't understand why this happened to them. Nonetheless, not to belabor you long, go see Ticket TV. I'll leave the link in the information so you can go check it out, the full video, and look at the documentation in the California District Court regarding the declaration of the attorney who was a witness at the settlement table. All right. Thank you all so much. This is Dr. Lillian Coley, and this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I hope you be encouraged, and I hope everything goes your way, because God has a plan for your life. Talk to you guys soon. God bless.